Abraaj has had a fantastic year, and what we have done is we have validated our investment hypothesis, we have validated our investment process, and most important of all, our people have really continued to cement their leading role across global growth markets. We've had a very clear investment hypothesis across our markets that cities, not countries, are the relevant mediums of investment activity and growth. We've had a very clear focus on urbanization and the younger people and the middle class populations. And we've had a very strong growth in each and every one of those segments. On an overall basis, our portfolio grew by 15.5% last year.
We've invested in a number of businesses across industries in our markets, and we can help accelerate a lot of their growth initiatives. From an investments perspective, it was a very active year across our markets, from Latin America to Asia to Africa and Turkey across the board. So an extremely busy year for us.
Integrated Diagnostics Holdings is the largest blood labs pathology business in Egypt. We brought in a pre-IPO investor, and we also added 2 cornerstone investors subsequently at the IPO, which helped give comfort to the market that it's going to be a very well subscribed offering. We ended up in the end with 11 times oversubscription, which led to the shares outperforming as they have.
The Pacific Alliance has really made significant progress in developing a free trade zone. This creates a thriving economy where to look for opportunities in the mid-caps. Out of that pipeline, we have executed one of the investments already. It's a company called Urbano, and that company is spread in South America, but we're planning to take it to Mexico, to Colombia. That's our way of creating value, internationalizing the company.
We are able to meet sponsors and differentiate ourselves by our local presence in each of the key ASEAN markets. And that, combined with the fact that we have built great experience and depth knowledge, allows us to differentiate and evidence that track record and to source deals on a proprietary and bilateral basis.
Turkey is a country of 80 million people. Average GDP growth in the last 20 years is around 5%. We are one of the longer established players in the market with proven track record and very credible exits. Hepsiburada is the largest online retailer in the whole of CEMEA region, including Russia. They saw how we were able to cross-sell them within our region, introduce them to our other partner companies, or provide access to them to other countries and other decision makers. That makes it a much more interesting proposal for our counterparts.
So we have concluded the raising of 2 funds for Africa. We have the Sub-Saharan Africa Fund, and we closed the Abraaj North Africa Fund 2. We will be focusing on sectors around consumer goods and services, around consumer finance, logistics, building materials, education, and health. Sub-Saharan Africa has the youngest population in the world and has the highest urbanization rate. By the end of 2025, we will have a population greater than that of Beijing.
In our markets, we are providers in more than just capital. We like to partner with the companies in which we invest, and we like to be involved in the value creation of those companies. We ensure sustainability, ensuring that the business is going to be sustainable from a competitive standpoint, making sure that it's adhering to global standards in terms of ESG, and then also contributing towards the community in terms of employment, which is obviously a critical aspect of sustainability for that economy.
Applying ESG adds value to the companies we invest in and improves returns for investors. Far from a trade-off, it's much more of a trade-on.
These countries are growing at 4 to 5, 60% GDP per year. The cities are growing about 2 times faster than that. The middle class is getting bigger. The disposable income is increasing. Then you have the urbanization coming into that play. It's a perfect storm in building what is the middle class consumers. The question is what it is that you're providing for them.
If you think about what Abraaj is focused on, whether it is real estate, whether it is healthcare, and whether it is energy, all of these are elements of soft infrastructure that make regions go from one stage of development to the other. We believe that these three sectors are going to be the real drivers of economic activity, especially given the backdrop of our cities approach.
We have considered risk management as a very important function from the beginning. But now it is much more important. We have 150 plus companies in which we have invested. We operate in 30 plus countries. The most important task in the risk management function is to create the right culture. If you have the right culture, right people, right training, right values inducted in them, you minimize risks.
We're growing at a very steady rate. We continue to deploy capital into the best sectors across our markets. And if you look at the way in which the long-term trend lines are indicating, global growth markets will continue to dominate global economic activity. So I see coming up in the next decade or so, there will continue to be an enormous amount of opportunity in these markets and a continued resilience of these markets, the real markets. The fundamentals will not change. And because of that, we continue not only to focus on the macro themes, we continue to believe very actively that it is the micro trends, the micro opportunity caused by individual companies that we need to focus on and derive value for our investors. And we're not going to take our eye off that ball. I think the great thing about Abraaj is the passion that its people feel towards both the markets and the firm. I think it's a gratifying opportunity to be at the center of it, and I love running the firm.